Hi, welcome to Fresh Air at 5, episode 105. In this episode, you'll hear me talk about the FAAF show, Evolving with Gratitude, and the second question. Yes, it's been a short week of listening. As well, I also listened to Teacher Champions, and there's a quick segment for you to listen to with that one, which is really awesome. I hope you're doing well, getting some fresh air, getting some exercise for yourself. All right, without further ado, episode 105, Fresh Air at 5.
I'm Mike Brilla, host of the Inspired Teacher Podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Brian Carpenter. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to exercise by walking about my neighborhood to take in podcast content, then reflect in an unedited video, which I finally post to my Twitter channel. This podcast will be a regular collection of the audio from these selfie videos. You can follow me on Twitter at Fresh Air at 5 or check out my website, briancarpenter.com, for other content I have created and collected. Hey PLN, January 10, 2023. And as I'm going along here, I am recalling that I have said 2022 a few times last week, as it was the turn of the year, and I had to get that in my brain so it's more automatic. All right, as I'm walking this morning, yesterday I skipped my morning walk. I had a lot of things going on over the weekend and getting ready for the day and doing some marking in the morning. So I skipped my walk yesterday morning. I felt it through the day. Makes a big difference for me to get out and go for a walk and to listen to podcasts. And it's the podcasts that are important, but it's the physical activity that gets me going in a good direction in the morning. So, what do you need for yourself to get going in the morning in a good direction? That time by yourself, maybe, things like that. So, all right, there we go. All right, so this morning I listened to episode 39 of Evolving with Gratitude with Lainey Rowell. And Lainey, it was great to hear your voice. We recorded a segment over Christmas break that's going to come out in February, you said. I'm excited about that, to be a part of Evolving with Gratitude. But this morning, as I was listening, you were talking with Jerry Almendarez out of Santa Ana Unified School District in California, and he's a superintendent there, and just how he goes about making the invisible visible through his use of social media and his position as district leader in his school district, superintendent, to amplify the things that are going on in schools, and how he has intentionally brought leadership along the way with the various departments and the various schools to have a presence on social media, so that if you're wondering what's going on in Santa Ana, you can look on the social medias and see what's going on in Santa Ana. So that's pretty cool. Appreciate that. I think that's awesome. And, there's a lot of opportunity that we have with our social medias, and how do we use those to amplify what's going on around us. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Lainey. Talk to you later. Bye. One more thing for January 10, 2023. All right, as I'm wrapping up my morning and I'm walking here back near my home, I listened to the second question with Martin Silverman, and he had on guest John Conan out of Columbia Falls or Cascade Falls, can't remember right now, in Montana, near the Flathead National Park. And you guys were talking about where John lives in Montana. Man, that's a beautiful part of the world, up in the Rockies out there. And Martin, you said, well, it's not really on the way to anywhere. Well, dude, it's on the way to Canada. you can come to Canada on the way through Johnstown and see, some more beautiful nature and places like that. John, it was great to hear you talk about being a principal in Montana and how rural schools and, community and culture are so important in, how high school has such an impact on a community. And, you said back in the 80s there was lots of high schools, and as they were finishing up and closing because the population of the towns couldn't support the number of students that were there. That's sad to hear that, communities were losing some culture. That culture is really important. I work in a different kind of school, and a virtual school that we have a small in-building student population. And it's hard to maintain a culture in a small place, but it's so important that we do that. I appreciated hearing you talk about SEL as part of RTI. And RTI gets going, but SEL is important in there as well, because if we're not caring for the kid, the interventions don't matter. And the wellness of our students is so important for learning to happen. All right, John and Marty, appreciate it. Have a fabulous day, gents. And Marty, come through Johnstown and come to Canada. Come see what's going on up in Canada. Peace out. Okay, bye. Hey, PLN, January 11, 2023. Happy Wednesday to you and FAAF. Just want to say good morning. Hope you guys are doing well out in Ontario and you're back to school this week. So that's good to get back at the things that we like to do. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy your jobs. Yeah, there's moments, but overall, it's all good. This morning as I'm walking, I listened to the FAAF show, episode 120, as FAAF revealed their podcast duo OneWord for 2023, which you'll have to listen. Well, it's in the title, so I'm not going to give anything away. It's focus. And how does focus affect their work that they're going to be doing this year? So as I'm running across the street because, there's a car coming, and I'm in a crosswalk, so why do I need to run? Anyhow, to focus is their one word. And I like how you shared about your one word and your journey with one word over the past 4 years. And I've been doing one word now this is my 5th year doing it. And I jumped on the bandwagon. Actually, I did. I jumped right on it at the beginning when I started doing it. And I'm actually glad that I do one word because, Pav, you talked about your goal setting and how you like to keep those things private and not put them out there and for reasons. And Shay, you put yours out there for other reasons. And I don't know. Maybe I just don't make goals. I don't make these broad goals and set things in front of me as opposed to wanting to be a better dad and wanting to be a better teacher and a better husband and, a better person, a better fisherman. So I don't necessarily put all mine out there, but my word this year for 2023 is fourth. It's an adverb. It means to go from the start, to bring forward, to bring out into the open. And so that's my word for this year. My students think it's kind of weird. I've got them doing one word as well. So we're doing it as a community. All right. Thanks all. Take a listen to episode 120, FAAF Show. Peace out. Bye. One more thing for January 11, 2023. Following up my thoughts on the FAAF Show, episode 120. FAAF, thanks so much for being a part of Fresh Air at 5 and being part of my PLN and putting your content out there. I want to say that I appreciate what you guys are doing, and that's why I want to share what you're doing on Fresh Air at 5, my podcast. It's only been a couple of years that I've been putting it out there in the podcast format, but since I heard you guys on Teachers on Fire with Tim Cavey, probably about 3 years ago now, or 2 years ago, you've done a lot of things. It's awesome, it's fantastic, and I cheer you on. We've all got our thing, and people, we need to figure out what our thing is, and we can't do the FAAF thing. If one word's not for you, don't do one word. If it is for you, then do one word, and figure out what you are about and do that and talk about that in a space that is comfortable for you. So yeah, congratulations, Champav, on episode 120, and I appreciate your candor. I appreciate your awesome sense of humor, Che, and you are a funny man. And Pav, actually, you're pretty funny too, and so keep on trying to be funny like Che. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. You guys are great. Appreciate you guys. Have a fab day. Bye. Hey, PLN, Friday, January 13th, 2023. It's another January 13th. Well, it's not another January 13th. It's another 13th Friday. And you know what? Friday the 13th have meaning in our world in the past. March 13th, 2020 stands out. And, I'm not a big numbers guy, but I don't know, Friday the 13th. Anyhow, here we are, and I am doing fresh air from the garage, not from the outside, because it is pouring rain outside, and I did not feel like getting wet. It's been a long week for myself, and I took some rest, slept in a little bit, and I'm also preparing for an interview for a podcast with Chris Jones later today. Super excited about talking with him. All right, this morning I thought, I got to listen to something. Got to listen to something to inspire me and to get my day going. And I listened to Teacher Champions with Brian Martin. And Brian, I want to say that on season 1, episode 55, you bring us Notice, Name, and Nurture It. And it's about seeing the things that are going on around you and noticing them and cultivating those things and being, acknowledging that they're happening and seeing the great things around you. Olivia Chen and yourself had a conversation recently. That's a fantastic interview, people. You got to go listen to. And but in this one right here, this is only 5 minutes and 42 seconds long. So it's a quick one that you could listen to really quick. It's going to fire you up. It's going to get you excited. I'm excited. I do some of these things on a regular basis, but we got to call them out and we got to bring them to people's attention. We watch our educational assistants, we watch our teachers around us, even our principal doing amazing things, and we should call them out and say, hey, thanks for doing that. You're doing awesome. It's amazing. Because, no matter where you are in the leadership spectrum, we all need to get a pat on the back and to have people notice the things that we're doing. Don't do it so you can get noticed, but do it because you care and people will notice. All right, Brian Martin, appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Have a fabulous day, everybody. Bye-bye. As my one word for 2021 is appreciate, I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific podcast episodes in the show notes for your learning convenience. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoy this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can also be found on Voice Ed Radio. Your voice is right here, and on the Education Podcast Network, Podcasts for Educators, Podcasts by Educators. I hope you have a fantastic day and get some fresh air before the day is out, and take care of yourself because you're worth it.